Mate, I got in some trouble in school, yeah. I mean, senior school. I was a nightmare. I never bunked a lot, yeah, because I never used to mind going. Just get proper lean before, leave really early, meet up with all my mates before school, get lean as anything, roll a load of roll a load of like 2 or 3 dupes before school, like big old kings, like King L's, I mean. Big old L's. I used to bring a video box to school, put them in it, keep it in my blazer pocket. Proper stoner, mate. I used to get in some trouble as well. I was a nightmare. I mean, got in trouble for loads of fighting, nicking off kids. I mean, I nicked a kid's jacket. I did bunk as well. Uh, Mate, all sorts of rubbish. I used to get in trouble for in school. I mean, what happens when you get in trouble in school though? What happens? Don't forget it's kid stuff, innit? Even bunking and fighting and nicking someone's stuff. I mean, that's naughty, yeah. What happened? What would be if you nicked someone's stuff? A school kid nicking someone else's school stuff. You would have gone home, got hiding. Definitely deserved an hiding, really. You know what I mean? Grounded, whatever. Before I start, Plum, stepdad, Plum, stepdad, Muggy Plum, stepdad, Scummy Plum, stepdad. I'll keep saying Plum, yeah? I've mentioned the plum before a few times, yeah? You're going to have to use your imagination on this one. Imagine when you got in trouble, and it happened a few times, or if he was having a bad day. Actually, we'll say I deserved it. We'll use your imagination. Imagine you deserved it. You nicked someone's coat from school. That's a big old bit of drama, isn't it? You deserve an hiding. It was a shot coat. That's the only excuse you got. You know you was wrong. It was, you know what I mean? It was out of order. You go home. You're fully expecting the hiding. You're fully expecting to get grounded. What about if they sit you down and they say, in the plum starts going, every time you get in trouble, I'm going to take a chunk off your nan. Nan. Yeah? What? Because you knew I was close. Because, like, allegedly, it might not be about me. I'm close to me nan. So I'll threaten you when you get in trouble, yeah? Every time you get in trouble, I'm going to chop a finger off your nan. What if I nick someone else? What if I get suspended from school again? You're going to chop a finger off an old lady? What? And you might be thinking he's like the plum's doing it behind your alleged mother's back. The old alleged mother will be sitting next to him, thinking, "Oh, mate, this is how gangsters talk. This is how gangsters must act." Because obviously, the alleged mother's only with him because she thought he was a big time gangster, the plum. You know what I mean? So she's sitting there probably, mate, excited, like, "What? He's telling him he's gonna cut up my mum. Oh, mate, what a gangster. And he's telling it to a 13, 14, 15-year-old boy. Oh, mate, what a gangster. Dripping. I better not get up. Everyone will notice." That's vulgar, isn't it? But imagine that's the person you was living with, who used to sit there and encourage this sort of talk from a grown man to a kid. I'll chop a finger off your nan every time. No. And then other times when he's trying to, the plum stopped you seeing all your family, basically, innit, yeah? But then he's phoning up your other nan. After he stopped your dad, then there comes a point, doesn't it, where you feel like you're banging your head against the wall, and you like, as a man, you just walk away. You think, hopefully, my kids will come and find me when they get older. Imagine I'd done that. Huh. Weird, wouldn't it? Be mental. But yeah. So he's phoning up your other nan. "Tell me where your son is, as I'm going to stab you up. I'm going to stab you." I'm leaving messages on answer machines like that as well. "I'm going to stab you." This is to an old lady. She's even older than the other nan. This one's proper old. The other nan weren't that much old. Was like a mother's age, you know what I mean, compared to me. Like, she could have been like a mum. The other one, this is a really old nan. "I'm going to chop you up and take like, yeah. See, this is what happens when people don't. That what? Why would they tell you where their son is? You moron. You plum. You could be starving, yeah, but we're not. You're just causing trouble. You could be starving. What are you pretending this for me for? You're just a bully. You stopped everyone seeing everyone. Oh, by the way, this is what's reminded me. This is what's made me think like, what could have deterred me from a life of crime? Imagine listening to this when you're 12, 13, 14, and you think the plum's telling you all sorts of stuff about how he's a hitman for a big family, fictitious family in South London. He's a hitman. He's this. He's that. If you mess about, I'll take the lumps out of your nan. I'll stab her up, and all that. Yeah. This is what I'm going through. They used to bully me unmercilessly. Made me feel like I didn't want to be there. I'd run away for 6 months. This is all alleged, isn't it? All alleged. I'd run away for 6 months. I'd rather eat food out of a bin than go home. They'd find me. They might realise I was at my nan's house. The one he threatened to stab up, and the big gangster, the plum, would phone old Bill on them. The big. Hey, they've got the body. He didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit about me. He didn't want me having anywhere to be. He's a scummer. Imagine you had a sibling that stuck up for this moron that threatened to stab your nan up. Imagine you had a sibling that stuck up for him, that got in contact recent. You think he was a moron, wouldn't you? If one of your siblings... The thing is, you've got to give him a little bit of credit, because, you know, I remember a better life before the plum come about, mate. Yeah? I remember a much better life before the plum come about. My brother was just a baby when the plum come about, so he was bullied and mugged off his whole life and doesn't realise what not getting bullied and mugged off is. You know what I mean? Imagine you had a mother that even knew he was getting bullied and mugged off when he was a baby, and she told the plum, mate, you bully my son, you keep bullying my son, I'll leave you. Not get out, you've been bullying my son, I'll leave you. I don't forget all this. As everyone in my family's always said, I've got a memory like an elephant. And I wasn't a baby when all this was happening. Anything I can say can be verified, by the way. I mean, because I talked to all my family, every single last one of them, and they'd all talked to all my siblings as well. Because no, they ain't fell out with none of them. And they'd tell them what the plum's like, what the alleged mother's like. Don't get involved, sibling, because you make yourself look silly. Yeah, you're defending a plum that said he was going to stab your nan up and take lumps out of her. Obviously, all she's in for entertainment purposes, isn't it? None of this could be real. What could have deterred me from a life of crime? Not growing up with this plum, mate. Making threats all the time. I'm going to do this to your nan. I'm going to do this to another old lady. See that geezer in a wheelchair over there? I'm going to go and knock him out in a minute. See those group of kids? I'm going to roll down my window and proper abuse them in a minute. I'm telling you now. I'm a sick gangster. This is what gangsters do. They threaten old women and tell lies about killing people to little kids. And then you've got your siblings defending it. How could you say that about the plum? The plum was great to me. The plum threatened to stab your nanny up. Tell me I'm lying. Anyway, what could deter me from a life of crime? Not growing up with a plum. Siblings, don't get involved in things you know nothing about. If you enjoyed that, hit subscribe and we'll chat tomorrow. Adios.